education, environment, and the social development needs of the communities around us. Our vision is to be the leading and most efficient energy provider in the country. What happens when we generate power? We enlighten lives. We empower progress. We are global business power.
Oh, here we go again, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Oh, 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 All I know is that the grease gets better when the skillet's hot, the dish sticks together. You say the cooking's done, but it never ends. Oh, here we go again, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again.
Global business power has become the leading power producer in the Visayas, with the flexibility to supply base, intermediate, peak load, and ancillary support responding to the growing energy needs of a dynamic nation connecting businesses and communities. We provide programs addressing health, education, environment, and the social development needs of the communities around us. Our vision is to be the leading and most efficient energy provider in the country. What happens when we generate power? We enlighten lives. We empower progress. We are global business power.
Welcome to the Daily Garden documentaries, where the longest story is digital. Welcome to Caffeinated, Daily Garden's podcast series in partnership with Uber Shared Space and Cafe.
Oh, here we go again, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again. Oh, 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 oh. All I know is that the grease gets better when the skillet's hot, the dish sticks together. You say the cooking's done, but it never ends. Oh, here we go again. Oh, here we go again. Let's do it one more time, yeah. Oh, here we go again.
global business power has become the leading power producer in the Visayas, with the flexibility to supply base, intermediate, pico, and ancillary support, responding to the growing energy needs of the dynamic nation, connecting businesses and communities. We provide programs addressing health, education, environment, and the social development needs of communities around us. Our vision is to be the leading and most efficient energy provider in the country. What happens when we generate power? We enlighten lives, we empower progress. We are global business power.
Hi, Pintin. Hello. Wala pa.
Maayong hapon. Welcome to Iloilo Business Online, our business conversations with our key leaders in the country discussing about the pressing issues in the industry amid the pandemic. Iloilo Business Club has prepared a powerhouse webinar for you today. I am Tin Manzanares, Officer in Charge of the Department of Tourism Region 6, and I will serve as your moderator. The session is presented by Iloilo Business Club and Daily Guardian in partnership with Global Business Power Corporation. Please allow me to acknowledge our participants coming from the business sector, academe, local government units across the region of Western Visayas, and everyone who took time to be with us. We are currently streamed live at the official Daily Guardian Facebook page. It is very timely that the Iloilo Business Club has organized this webinar to provide the public with updates on the plans and programs of the Department of Tourism in the midst of the public health crisis. To formally start our session, we will now hear words of welcome from the chairman of Iloilo Business Club, Mr. Juan Jose Hamora III. Sir,
Sir, excuse me, you are on mute.
We look forward to more Iloilo Business Online sessions with you. Let us continue to observe the minimum health standard. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you, and good afternoon again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamora. I know that we are all excited to hear from our honored guests this afternoon, and it is my privilege to introduce them to you. We'll start with a presentation by our dear Secretary of the Department of Tourism, who will be speaking about the state and recovery of the Philippine tourism sector amidst the pandemic. Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat attended the University of the Philippines and pursued an undergraduate and a master's degree in economics. She was a former lecturer at the UP School of Economics. She also served as economic consultant at the Housing and Urban Development Coordination Council and the Presidential Management Staff, and was Deputy Cabinet Secretary at the Office of the President in 2006. She was appointed as Undersecretary of the Department of Agriculture from 2007 to 2018, where she was designated to handle special concerns, administration, and finance, and agribusiness and marketing. She is currently the Secretary of the Department of Tourism after being appointed by President Rodrigo Duterte on May 2018. Tourism partners and stakeholders, please welcome Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat. Sec.
Philippine Business Club Chairman 1, Jose Hamada III, OIC Regional Director Christine Ancinares, our tourism stakeholders, maayong adlaw. On behalf of the Department of Tourism, I would like to thank the Iloilo Business Club and the Daily Guardian for their kind invitation to address this forum and provide fresh insights on the status of Philippine tourism. As you might expect, massive impact on the tourism industry. In 2020, we recorded 1.4 million foreign visitors, a decline of 82.05% compared to the 8.26 million international visitors welcomed in 2019. This directly correlates to the drop in tourism receipts, which shows a decline of 82.94%, going from 482.15 billion pesos earned in 2019 to only 82.24 billion pesos last year. Before the full impact of the pandemic was felt, the tourism sector was one of the largest contributors to national revenue, accounting for 12.7%. We also employed 5.7 million Filipinos in 2019, which indicates how significant the tourism industry is in providing decent jobs and livelihoods to our countrymen. and why it is vital that we continue our ongoing initiatives to spur recovery in the sector. Throughout this pandemic, the DOT has leveraged on domestic tourism to lead and sustain the recovery of our industry. We are leveraging on our robust domestic market, which recorded 110 million domestic trips in 2019 and accounted for 4.8% of the industry's 12.7% contribution to the gross domestic product. The recovery efforts have also been guided by our tourism. Philippine Business Club Chairman Juan Jose OIC Asian Sector Christine Adlao. On behalf of the Department of Tourism, I would like to thank
Lula, bisa na sa Zoom bala?
Yeah, we
Gano, sila kindly improve audio.
currently have
Ma-restart sila.
we apologize for the technical difficulty. We kindly request our secretariat to replay the messages of our chairman and then that of the secretary. Thank you very much.
So, while waiting for the technical team to fix the problem, may I get some crowd kung ilan sa tourism sector, so yun, from Iloilo are joining us now. Yan.
We apologize for the technical difficulty. Requesting our technical person and the secretariat to replay the messages of our chairman, Mr. Hamora, and the presentation of Secretary Puyat. So in the meantime, we would like to thank our participants coming from various sectors. We have local governments units joining us, our tourism stakeholders across the region, our tourism partners from various sectors, from hotel, our restaurants, travel and tour operations, and our entertainment.
Iloilo Business Club Chairman Juan Jose Hamora III, OIC Regional Director Christine Manzanares, our tourism stakeholders, maayong adlaw. On behalf of the Department of Tourism, I would like to thank the Iloilo Business Club and the Daily Guardian for their kind invitation to address this forum and provide fresh insights on the status of Philippine tourism. As you might expect, the tourism figures from 2020 reflect the pandemic's massive impact on the tourism industry. In 2020, we recorded 1.4 million foreign visitors, a decline of 82.05% compared to the 8.26 million international visitors welcomed in 2019. This directly correlates to the drop in tourism receipts, which shows a decline of 82.94%, going from 482.15 billion pesos earned in 2019 to only 82.24 billion pesos last year. Before the full impact of the pandemic was felt, the tourism sector was one of the largest contributors to national revenue, accounting for 12.7% of the country's gross domestic product. We also employed 5.7 million Filipinos in 2019, which indicates how significant the tourism industry is in providing decent jobs and livelihoods to our countrymen, and why it is vital that we continue our ongoing initiatives to spur recovery in the sector. Throughout this pandemic, the DOT has leveraged on domestic tourism to lead and sustain the recovery of our industry. We are leveraging on our robust domestic market, which recorded 110 million domestic trips in 2019 and accounted for 10.8% of the industry's 12.7% contribution to the gross domestic product. The recovery efforts have also been guided by our Tourism Response and Recovery Plan, or the TRRP, which was crafted to assist our tourism stakeholders amidst this crisis. Through the TRRP's framework, the following priority points in battling the pandemic were identified and guided our plans for the short to the medium-term recovery of the industry. First was the assistance to tourist travelers affected by the pandemic. Second was the capacity building for tourism workers. Third is financial assistance to sustain tourism businesses and employment. Fourth is the development and enforcement of new normal standards. Fifth is the development of travel bubbles to restart tourism activities. And as I mentioned a little while ago, identifying domestic tourism as the backbone of the revival of the industry. The DOT strongly advocated for provisions in the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, also known as the Bayanihan 2, to aid the tourism sector. Bayanihan 2 allocated 3 billion pesos for financial assistance to displaced tourism workers, 1 billion pesos for tourism road infrastructure, and 100 million pesos for community and regional tour guides. 6 billion pesos worth of loans have also been allocated for tourism MSMEs under the CARES for Travel program of the Department of Tourism and the Small Business Corporation of the Department of Trade and Industry. As of April 23, 370 loan applications have been approved, representing a loan amount of 145,444,518. For the province of Iloilo, a total of 4 tourism enterprises have been approved with loan application amounting to 1.5 million pesos. As for the DOT DOLE Financial Assistance Program for displaced tourism workers, a total of 423,827 tourism workers have been approved to receive benefits as of April 23, 2021, bringing the total amount of cash assistance to 2.1 billion pesos. For Iloilo Province, 9,065 tourism workers have received 5,000 pesos each, amounting to 45,325,000. Apart from financial assistance provided to stakeholders and workers, the DOT also identified the need for institutionalized health and safety guidelines throughout the entire tourism value chain to restore the public's confidence to travel. To further protect the health of tourists and workers in the industry, we requested the country's vaccination authorities to allow tourism frontliners to be included in the priority list of those eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccines, which was generously granted. As of April 22, 2021, we have recorded a total of 174,130 tourism frontline service employees employed by DOT accredited establishments who are now in line to receive the vaccines as they become available. Thanks in part to the establishment of health and safety guidelines and protocols, as well as our consultation with other concerned national government agencies, various LGUs, stakeholder groups, and community members, we were able to begin reopening our destinations in the latter half of 2020. Specific to Iloilo, we have been monitoring the implementation of health and safety guidelines in 198 DOT accredited tourism enterprises in Iloilo City and the entire province, ensuring that your tourism-related establishments are ready and prepared for the gradual influx of tourism. To entice visitors to visit Iloilo, we have been developing new products that cater to the interests and need of tourists in the new normal. Tailored to the growing demand for farm tourism products is the upcoming Fun Farms program for the 5 districts of Iloilo Province. Our DOT Region 6 or Western Visayas office is also promoting tourism circuits in the Iloilo Province, namely the Agri-Historical Tour, the Agri-Eco Tour, the Agrication Tour, which consists of the Recreation, Vacation Tour, Agri-Sarap Tour, and the Agri-Venture Tour. To address the demand for more diving spots in Iloilo, we have begun habitat mapping to explore more possible sites using the Shark Scan system. Through the Tourism Promotions Board or the TPB, the DOT has provided financial support amounting to 9.9 million to Iloilo City's bike tourism program with the aim of making it the bike capital of the Philippines. The program developed the city's bike routes while promoting eating places along the routes and other cultural and historical sites nearby. In assessing the overall quality of a tourism experience, we have not forgotten the importance of having adequate tourism infrastructure. For the Iloilo province, I'm glad to share that from 2013 to 2020, 35 tourism road projects have been completed with a total length of 133.239 kilometers worth 3.1 billion pesos. For Iloilo City, 43 tourism road projects have been completed from 2013 to 2018 with a total length of 20.8 kilometers worth 502.45 million pesos. In addition, the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority or TIEZA, an attached agency of the Department of Tourism, provided 200 million pesos for the construction of the Iloilo Convention Center. Elsewhere in Region 6, our slow food travel, food and tourism for rural development in Western Visayas kicked off last March 27 in Bacolod City. This campaign aims to improve the understanding of local agro-biodiversity, heritage and food systems, and sustainable travel to Western Visayas, covering 6 provinces and 2 highly urbanized cities. We are also strengthening other tourism products in the region, such as the Western Visayas Sugar Trail, the development of the Western Visayas Dive Circuit, and the development of inter-regional products for the Visayas cluster, including motor touring and diving. After what happened to Philippine tourism in 2020, I am often asked if there is a future for the industry post-pandemic. Of course, there is. It will be a gradual process towards a full recovery, but I am certain we will get there. The pandemic has taught us a lot over the past year, which has driven the Department of Tourism to focus its rebuilding efforts towards making the tourism industry stronger, more resilient, and more sustainable. Thank you again to the Iloilo Business Club and the Daily Guardian for the honor to address this forum. Madamo gid nga salamat at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you very much, Secretary Kuyat, for that very comprehensive presentation. Revitalizing tourism is one of the primary concerns of the Philippines, and domestic tourism is expected to play a vital role in supporting the initial recovery phase of travel. We are guided by our tourism rehab and recovery plan. And for Region 6, we thank the National Economic Development Authority 6 for helping us out in crafting this plan technically. Joining us also this afternoon to entertain our questions, because Secretary Puyat is currently with the IATF meeting, we have our Undersecretary, Roberto Alabado III, under the Tourism Regulation Coordination and Resource Generation, to join us this afternoon to answer questions and to provide also more inputs later on to our stakeholders across the region. And to briefly introduce Yusik Robbie. Yusik Robbie is an urban and regional development planner. He finished his BS Community Development and Master in Regional Development Planning at the University of the Philippines, Diliman campus. He also has earned a graduate diploma in Regional Development Planning and Management from the Universität Dortmund in Germany. As a planning and development consultant, he has collaborated with several cities and municipalities and national government agencies in Mindanao. He specializes in planning sectors of land use, transportation, tourism, and agriculture. Yusik Rob, thank you very much for taking time to be with us this afternoon. To our participants, I know you have jotted down a lot of questions. We have Yusik Robbie to entertain these in a bit.
So, mayong hapon sa tanan. Yes, Ilonggo gyapon ko. And Iloilo and Panay has been very, very special in my development as a regional planner. Actually, if you're going to look at my thesis in my master's degree, it was done in Iloilo. Iloilo was our base before. That was in the 2000. Then at the same time, ang aking community development degree, I had my practicum naman in Aklan. Then if you want to know my personal background, I grew up also first 10 years of my life, Negros Occidental. If you want to know my ancestors, they came from Iloilo and Antique. So Ilonggo takon niya. So I would like to greet our chairperson, Sir Hamora, mayong hapon gid sa tanan, to our business partners here in Iloilo City, mayong hapon gid sa inyo tanan.
Yusek, madamo nga salamat. Yeah, Yusek, first question from our stakeholders. What is the direction of tourism investment in the Philippines? Do we see any increase in budget for tourism roads and infrastructures in 2022?
Yes, okay. For the Department of Tourism, we see that infrastructure development really is a driver of development here in the Philippines. And I know that the national government will be continuing to implement its build program amidst this pandemic. So we can see right now the construction of the needed infrastructures, the highways, the ports, the airports, they have never stopped because we need to provide jobs and at the same time prepare the Philippines for the eventual return of, in our sector, tourism. In tourism, we will be needing these roads, we will be needing these ports, we will be needing these airports so that we can bring in our tourists and take them around. But at the same time, I know that the secretary has also mentioned that in Iloilo alone, we have had a total length of 133 kilometers from 2013 to 2020. And for Iloilo City alone, I think we had 20 kilometers which are related to tourism ng mga roads na ginawa from 2013 to 2018. And we're looking at the TRIP, this is the Tourism Roads Infrastructure Program, which is a joint project or convergence project between DPWH and DOT. We know that the infrastructure development right now is parang the administration is the end of the period of this administration is nearing. That's next year, and so parang policy direction on infrastructure is we have to finish all that we have started for this year. So we are given now a deadline na parang dapat by 2022, whatever we have started in 2016 has already been finished. So we will be prioritizing the ongoing TRIP projects that we have started. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Yusek. Yusek, another question. So this is about the best practice of hotels and restaurants or travel agencies to transition their operations or introduce innovations in order to adapt to the current health crisis. So can we cite any best practice around the country or in specific regions on this, Yusek?
Yes, okay. So during the start of the pandemic, we were looking at policies on how can we really prepare our businesses and our, not just businesses, but our hotels, our restaurants, our tourism enterprises towards the new normal. So while everything was still parang medyo chaotic last year, but we had information that this virus is always on contact. So we were pushing for contactless technology to be integrated into the operations of our hotels and tourism establishments. Then next was, we were looking at pag sinabi mong touchless economy, then we will be going on high technology na. We now have a lot of our hotels. I've seen some in Boracay and in Manila here in NCR. There's already pre-booking. So when you go to the hotel, there's no more things to sign because everything has been pre-booked, and all you have to do is just use your smartphone so that you can check in. Then they will provide you with the key. So no more touching of the pens, no more filling out of these forms, which may be more on the contact area. But at the same time, we have seen the standards in hygiene, yung hygiene and sanitation natin, to have actually doubled or tripled. If before it was just being some of the common areas were just being cleaned, but once every few hours, now they are doubling all of their efforts in cleaning all of this. So technology-wise, we have now this pandemic has pushed the tourism industry towards digitalization. Right now, QR codes are a must. Being in the website is a must. Having conversations through video calls is a must. And itong mga cashless transactions is a must. So I was looking at Facebook, ang usual natin and I saw one in Davao na kaibigan ko. It's I'm also right now taga Davao na Usbong. He was going to put foot handles on his doors, ang kanyang mga buildings. So no need to use your hands because a lot of people will be using that. But he was using, ano na, may technology naman yan eh. If you're going to the hospitals, they don't use their hands to open the emergency doors. They use their feet. You step on something and it opens the door. So he is implementing that right now in his area. So we are looking at that type of innovations coming from our entrepreneurs, from our building operators, hotels. Baka we have to adapt into this practices that were once before parang out of this world for us. But we live in in such times that there is a need to innovate and perhaps move to the next level to build confidence for our travelers to use our facilities.
Yusek, thank you again. So for the third question, Yusek, we have here, after a year of being under the pandemic, what are your realizations in terms of facilities and services that need to be improved to make the Philippines a safe tourism destination?
Yes. Before this pandemic came, if you're going to look at the issues that we had with concerning tourism, number one, it was always health and safety. I can remember some of the incidents wherein medical attention was needed from some of the accidents that occurred in some of the activities na ginawa nila doon. So yung iba na sugatan, and there were some times that there were inadequate medical facilities in the area. And right now, we see that. So the Department of Health, together with the Department of Tourism, we're now partnering in providing our areas, the tourism destinations, particularly, for example, itong si Boracay, Siargao, El Nido. These are areas wherein a lot of tourists go there. However, we can see that they may be inadequate to address all of the concerns of medical concerns of tourists going there. So we have to address this. Health and safety is very much precious right now. So this importance is given, but at the same time, the Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat has made sustainable tourism the framework of her administration, of this administration. Therefore, we are also looking at it's not just the health of the people, but also the health of the environment. Kaya we have some projects, we call it the tourist projects, wherein we're looking at island destinations, emerging island destinations natin, to put up the proper infrastructures like itong mga water treatment plants, solid waste management na mga infrastructures, so we can have the assurance of not only is the community health protected, but also of the tourists. Not only are the human health protected, but also of the environment. So I think these are the key things that we have seen in this pandemic. The health and safety concern of our tourists should always be given utmost priority.
Yusek, another question from the Metro Bacolod Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Frank Carbon. This question, what are the safety protocols introduced by the Department of Tourism to manage the spread of the virus at the tourism site level?
Yes, okay, so for the tourism site level, when the pandemic started, we started to look at the whole industry through its value chain. We were we already know the value chain. It's from the start to the finish. It's the whole tourist experience. When they start booking their flights, entering the flight, going to the airport, from the airport pupunta sa mga hotel, then they have activities going to the attractions, then to the restaurants sa Lubong Center, then hanggang sa makauwi sila. All of these were investigated, and we have now various protocols on what should be done so that we can assure our tourists, not just our tourists, but our tourism workers, our own workers and the community, that the spread of this virus can be managed. So when we say managed, the lowest risk possible can be the requirement for such. So during the past few months, we have been coming up with protocols. Paano si tourism transport? How will the hotels take care of their facilities, and at the same time the tourists themselves, if they enter into restaurants, what are the health and safety guidelines? So with the guidance coming from IITF, we have made several protocols on how to manage or operate these different businesses that we have under the tourism sector. So, sir, it's out. We have the protocols that we are constantly evaluating also, and upgrading based on the knowledge that we have from this pandemic and the virus. So, heto po yung I know na damo sa aton kung kisa magsiling na ano man naman pabag-o. It's because of the amount of science that we learn. Almost every week, every month, there's new knowledge on how to protect ourselves and how does this virus infect. So too must our protocols keep up with such. Kaya please be patient with us, but we are trying to ensure the safety of not only our tourists, but also of our tourism workers and your enterprises as well.
We have Yusek Salamat. Another question, Yusek, from Attorney Jobert, Peña Florida. Secretary Puyat mentioned the vaccination of tourism workers. DOT has announced its implementation beginning with Boracay. May we ask timeline of this?
Yes. For the there's no timeline yet because we will be awaiting vaccination. However, the Department of Tourism is actually pushing that. We have already pushed yung ating mga tourism workers. They are now a priority. These are the tourism workers who are actually frontline defense po natin sila because as you know that we have hotels that have been converted into isolation facilities and at the same time quarantine hotels. So we have prioritized them sa vaccination, and the IATF has agreed, and we have also pushed for the prioritization of our tourism industry as well. I know that you have heard of yung nangyari doon sa Phuket, where I think their government is actually pushing for Phuket to be on the front lines to be vaccinated. And I know the good governor of Aklan, and at the same time the mayor of Malay in Boracay has also sent letters to the IATF and the Department of Tourism, pushing that the community of Boracay be prioritized. So as for the timeline for this, I cannot give any details on such, but we would like to prioritize etong ating mga destinations that are in dire need of support.
Some Iloilo Festival. Sige. Okay na po yan.
Thank you, Yusek, and thank you, Attorney Pina Florida of IFFI. Thank you, sir. Yusek from Daily Guardian, our media partner for this webinar, for this session. We have Mr. Joseph Marzan. He has several questions. Number one here is the direction of other aspects of the tourism sector, such as the manpower development, sustainable tourism, and community-based tourism. And then very important question also, Yusek, this is regarding the Bandanas ruling on what are those functions that will be devolved to the LGUs.
Yes, okay, so this is now one of the main efforts that the Department of Tourism is concerned about, the Mandanas ruling. Okay, so we know that there are things that the local government can do, and at the same time, and what are the other areas that the national government must do. So for now, we're looking at empowering. For the past few years that I've been here with Department of Tourism, we have been relentless in trying to empower the local government units in terms of, number one, planning. We have been giving seminars and trainings on, and we even have a guidebook on how to plan the tourism development parang guide or plan of the local government unit. So we have capacitated the tourism officers. We have capacitated the local development coordinators, planning and coordinators on such. So in terms of local planning, that may be devolved down to the local government unit. However, we're looking at, halimbawa po yung sinasabi na accreditation. When we say accreditation and standards, we believe that it's national government should retain its mandate to be the one who will set the standards, because we are looking at on a national standard. But enforcement of these standards will be shared with the local government units. So, heto po yung mga nire-review karon sa Department of Tourism. What would be the mandate of the Department of Tourism? Because we are now on the the steering. These are the words that the national government is using. When we say steering function, it's more on policy. National government, including regional offices, which is part of the national government, are more on the steering. So that's policy directions, providing the policy directions, and we're doing the analysis on a macro level so that we can guide the tourism industry on a macro level point of view. However, on the local government implementation on the ground, then that is another matter. But we will always be guiding, capacitating the local governments to ensure that these functions that have been devolved to the local government units can be done in an effective and efficient way.
Yusek, more questions coming in.
Yes, please.
Yes. How can local government units assist tourism stakeholders in their recovery and complement the efforts of DOT in ensuring safety of tourism travelers?
Yes, the local government units is very, very important in the fast recovery of the tourism industry. And I last year I was part of the formulation of the TRRP, or the Tourism Response and Recovery Plan that we are using right now. And It was specifically mentioned there that if the national government can provide incentives, perhaps local government units can also provide incentives for our local businesses. Ang sabi nga ng isang negosyante sa akin, sabi niya, for many years we have local government units who have been relying a huge chunk of their income from the benefits coming from the tourism industry. And that business person is saying perhaps a lifeline coming from the local government units can be provided. So it's like, what should be what do you like? Number one, can the payment of these businesses licensing mga permits be eased? Hindi niya sinasabi can be made free, but he's just asking for maybe discounts or even deferment. He's not saying the business sector is not saying na exemption. You're just saying deferment. Habang wala pa silang kita, can this be deferred into a time wherein meron ng kita, then they can pay the taxes needed, because they understand that taxes are actually the lifeblood of our local government units. So it's a give and take situation. So they are just local government units can help our businesses by easing some of the restrictions or deferment of tax payments. So these are some of the suggestions that we are requesting that our local government units can look into, because ultimately these are the businesses that provide the citizens of our local government unit with the employment much needed. So if we can retain and provide them with the lifeline they need, then they may be able to provide or maintain the job opportunities that they give to our citizens.
Thank you, Yusek. And to ask her question live, our active partner from the Iloilo Mice Alliance, Ms. Natalie Lim. Ms. Nat?
Hi, good afternoon, maayong hapon. Ma'am Pin, maayong hapon, Yusek Robbie. Yusek Robbie, again, I'm Natalie Lim. I'm the general manager of the Richmond Hotel Iloilo. But more than that, I'm also part of the Iloilo Mice Alliance. And Yusek Robbie, we just wish to address the immediate needs of the mice sector. Because as of the moment, no events are not allowed, no non-essential events are not allowed in the city, and we understand the concern. However, we wish to know how can DOT assist us in streamlining the strict lockdowns now on events wherein, the convention center is right beside us and it's sitting empty, and some hotels are also empty, and even if facilities are closed or empty, we still spend a considerable amount of money for maintenance, and upkeep. And events keep getting postponed, leisure travelers are not yet accepted, and we continue to spend. So how can we possibly be incentivized as a business enterprise in return naman for spending on all of these innovations and all of these things that we're doing? We don't get a lot of returnees or OFWs because they are allowed to go home, and we thank the LGU for allowing them to go home so that they don't spend more money, just be in quarantine at home. So how can DOT and maybe the LGU collaborate or streamline the restrictions so that we get naman a certain amount of freedom to conduct our business?
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. I have stayed in your hotel, and I think it was 2-3 years ago when we started the Mice in Iloilo. I was there, and we're looking right now at in terms of mice, the events and the meetings. I know it's hard because they are being termed as mass gathering. However, we have seen some innovations here in Manila, wherein they were able to do hybrid meetings. So ang ating mga government offices, they should support our mice. I'm calling on our government agencies. I know we have the funds for that. Small meetings can be held. Business meetings can be held in our and it is allowed in our hotels. Hindi lang siya social events, but business meetings. So one thing that we're doing here right now in NCR as an office, we are conducting hybrid meetings so that kahit ginagmay lang ng mga meetings, but it allows our hotels to have something in their cash flow. Because as what Ma'am Lim was saying, miyara tayo ng mga pasweldo, miyara ta kuryente, miyara ta mga tubig na kinahanglan the utilities. And they need So business meetings po are very much welcome, even in and small gatherings of official or mga business meetings are allowed man. Ang kinahanglan natin is encouraging our business groups, our government agencies on how can we do that. I have an example dito ni sa Davao sang nagpuli ko sa December. Ang isa ka hotel dito, they were already calculating ang sabi na okay, so if it's a business meeting, pagkatapos in the conference room only 15 are allowed maximum. Let's bring in 30, 40. Pagkatapos let's give them discount for their use of the facilities. And ang 15, they will be in their rooms. So one per room para safe. Then we have our internet connection. Then yung 15 na allowed, they can do it there in the conference room. Then pag abot sa pagkaon, kung ano isa-serve doon kasi it's individual naman ang pagka-serve. Kung ano isa-serve doon sa conference, that's allowed. The business meeting that is allowed no face-to-face, but of course with all of the shields and proper PPEs, they will also be served in the rooms. So everything is online. Everything is on the same venue. However, they're trying to conform with what is possible. So this now becomes I always believe in the power of the private sector to innovate. So, but from our side, from the Department of Tourism, I'm calling on our government and LGU na let's support our hotels. If we have business conferences or business meetings, maski na 10 lang, let's do it in their conference rooms and just ensure that the proper guidelines of the local government and the national government, IITF, are followed. So that it's a signal. Once you have meetings in our hotels, it will now provide a signal for other business groups to follow. This is what I think Ma'am Natalie Lim is asking us. Let's become the spark that will build the confidence to other business groups to hold small, again I'm emphasizing small business meetings which may be allowed under the MGCQ of your LGUs. Thank you po.
Thank you, Yusek.
Thank you po. Thank you, Yusek. We hope to see you here soon in Iloilo.
Kinahanglan ko mag-renew sa ako na passport na pagka Ilonggo.
Kailangan ng visa.
Yes, oo. Kailangan. Oo.
Thank you.
Kasi I saw some sa chat group. I'm also looking at it. And I know that the NCR Plus is actually our market for the business meetings, the leisure. So as long as the restrictions on travel is imposed here in NCR, then I know that our destinations will not have the market that they want. And ako, I'm here right now in in NCR, and I'm also in a lockdown. So I am also restricting my going out because I have to follow the regulations. But we know that it has been greatly affected. I have seen the data on the arrivals in the various destinations in the Philippines, and because of the MECQ status of NCR, plus na naapektuhan ang mga tourism establishments.
Yusek and Ms. Nat, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. Yusek, another stakeholder, one of our tourism champions also, will be asking her question live. Ms. Cleofe Albiso. Ms. Cleo.
Hi, good afternoon, Ma'am Dean, and welcome to the DOT6. We're very happy to have you there. And the USEC, we would like, Natalie and I are sisters. I am Cleofe Albiso, sisters at work. I am the group general manager of Mega World Hotels, and my heart belongs to Iloilo, being a proponent of MICE Alliance myself. We have shared a lot of concerns, and really the concern is more on how we can bring back the business. We've done our share of putting up the protocols in most of our properties, and I think a lot of our hotels also in Iloilo and Boracay have really put this in place, and private sector really reaching out to the government so that we can kickstart what is called a reopening and a rehabilitation of tourism. We've been talking about the travel bubble. Is it doable that we pilot in our region where it is more contained? If we can do it in between Boracay and Iloilo and probably open somewhere else to connect to that as a solution, is there a set execution platform that we can do? Because we'll be very eager to support that, just to be able to feel the influx little by little, because as it is now, it's minimal to none.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. Actually, it's very we have to raise the level of travelers' confidence. I know that our local government units, our enterprises, our DEs have been very busy in putting the right infrastructure, the right services, and the right parang equipment so that we can build on this. Looking at the surveys that we have conducted recently, we are
We will, okay, you said go ahead.
Yeah, sorry for that. We are seeing sa study na yun that there is a preference right now of the market. And number one, the market will travel if they are assured na parang the places that they're going to are safe for them. So health and safety is a main concern. Then number two, they are still not on that parang confidence of being with other people, like strangers. There is a preference that if they're going to go on a group, it's going to be with their family kasi kakilala nila when they go out. Then there's a preference also na it's going to be more on the open door activities, mga hindi sa loob ng mga restaurants. They don't some don't even want to go inside malls. So these are some of the consumer preferences that we've seen. Kaya when we look at the MICE industry, we have to look for ways ngayon on how can we put back that confidence. Because I remember, a MICE, it's always business. We have to start with the business. And that's why we know that leisure will come later, but business is business. It is there now. Kaya the government has allowed APOR, yung mga people who have business trips to travel because the economy has to grow and there's a need for face-to-face meetings. But how can we capture this? This we may have to really discuss and talk. And we're also talking with our hotels and with our MICE partners here. How can we build the confidence so that we can have much bigger events or groups? Kaya we have to let's talk more about this. Alam ko na many of our venues right now are really in dire need. In a hotel business, a large chunk of the revenues come from MICE. And yun ang nawawala ngayon. Let's talk more about this.
Thank you, Yusek. Our lines are open. We'll gladly sit down.
Thank you
and
very much.
discuss this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Salamat.
Yusek, we have one question coming from the academe, and this has to do something with our human capital development, especially for those taking up hospitality and tourism courses. Are there new skills and competencies that they need to have or develop to cope with the changing landscape in the workplace?
Yes, I am very much interested in this. I think this is Mr. Mike Brioga. Halinman ko sa academe. Halinman ko sa academe. Nagtudloman ko sa UP. Sa Diliman kag sa Mindanao. Anyway, every time this question is very common because since last year we have had these meetings or forum sa mga hospitality students and institutions, mga academic institutions. And one thing that we have seen a lot is the concern of our students and actually institutions on the return of tourism, because we have a lot of graduates on the tourism industry. I saw one time, siguro mga 4 years ago, there was this study that was shown to us, and it was saying that only Indonesia and the Philippines in the next 5 to 10 years will have a surplus of tourism-related graduates. The rest of Southeast Asia and East Asia will have a deficit of that. So in terms of an analysis, we will be supplying the human resource needs of actually practically our neighbors. And we have been doing that for so long. Ngayon, tourism has stopped. But unti-unti po, it's going back. And I have seen some reports that even ang mga nagpulibla diri sa cruise lines, ginatawag na sila pabalik. They're going back. They're being recalled back to abroad. So there are now new skill sets that are needed. Number one, as you see the low touch technology, the low touch economy, then our people must now be trained on how to handle right now a low touch economy. Like if you're into software, how to handle all of these gadgets that may be utilized now in the first world countries if we're going to supply them. And including in our NCR, they also have new gadgets in health and safety. Mga hindi na yung mga housekeepers natin are now being trained on the use of high-tech gadgets to safely clean the rooms. Next is in terms of buffet services. Right now, bawal lang eat all you can buffet. So they have to now learn new processes on how to do it. So one of these, and we are looking on the change of the preferences right now of the market. We now have to see outdoor naman subong ang ginapapangita sa mga tao. So sun and beach is there. Okay, that's sun and beach. Kung tour guide ka, now how are you going now to be on the more outdoor the side of things? And some are even more active, and I would like to congratulate Iloilo na daw kamugid ang mag-start ni sa bike tourism naton, because you're going to be the bike capital. And have we trained ba ang mga mga tour guides natin on nature tourism? So tour guiding now may have to be on a much higher skill set. Kabalo ka na dapat mag-bike, kabalo ka mag-hiking. You can, if it's going to be nature-based, you need to know how to identify birds. I'm a bird watcher myself. So all of these are now going. So I would like the academe to work with us. Let's DOT, and let's identify these. We will be glad to share you the new surveys that we have had, para we can develop new inputs on that level. And I'm encouraging I'm encouraging the universities of Iloilo. Samtang arita sa mga video call naman din ng mga we have a lot of experts inside the Department of Tourism who will be glad to share with your students the knowledge that we have gathered for the past how many years here. So this now becomes very important for us to train the next generation of tourism workers into the next level. Sabi lang, new normal, yes, we have to train them. Maybe the old ways, we have to be set aside muna. Let's learn new ways to integrate technology that is very, very essential now in our work.
Thank you, Yusek.
Yeah, okay. I see another si Galaxy Tab S7.
Yes, Yusek.
Yes. Ang farm tourism actually it's a big hit right now, because we were looking at this pandemic. People, number one, would like to visit the rural areas, fresh air. Now, why kayo tao? So farm tourism is there. That's in the rural areas most of the time. Then at the same time, they would like to eat healthy food. In this time of pandemic, ang utan kang prutas, kinanlan gid naton kaunon. So the healthy, a healthy lifestyle. I am also into health and wellness tourism. And the health and wellness tourism of the world is predicting health and tourism will make a very, very big leap post-pandemic, because people now are very conscious about their health. They know that they have to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Etong mga exercise, etong mga yoga, etong mga pamasahe, they have to maintain a sense of healthy body. So all of these now are being developed. So are there programs for this? Yes. Si OIC, RD10 is developing all of these products in Iloilo and in Panay. In general, there are a lot of farm tourism sites there. So kung sa una, we're just looking at the churches. Ako, I love the churches of Iloilo. However, ang DOT Subong, hindi lang churches ang ibisita mo. Later, you will go into a farm, then we're going to be eating healthy food there, and you're going to experience on how to become healthy yourself. Because maybe in the future, you may want to have your backyard farming. And you will go to that farm so that you will learn how to plant mga kamatis, mga kangkong, whatever healthy food that you may need. So, Ma'am Dulce, the farm tourism is being pushed right now because we see that it has the ingredients, forgive the pun, it has the ingredients to na ginapangita gid sa aton market Subong. So nature-based, being healthy, outdoors, and at the same time less crowds. That all of those ingredients make for a good area.
So thank you, Yusek. That was our last question. Thank you for the valuable insights that you shared to our stakeholders for expounding what was written in our tourism rehab and recovery plan that Yusek Robbie also initiated and led the DOT team in crafting one. And also as health and wellness in charge also of the Department of Tourism. He handled a lot of this, and of course farm tourism and other related functions of DOT. Yeah. But we have one more persistent Zoom participant, Yusek, who wanted to ask his question live. Sir Frank, you have the floor. before we officially close.
Yes, pa. Yes, please.
Hi, Tintin. Congratulations.
Hello.
Why pa ako naka-congratulations mo. Sige. Good afternoon, Yusek. I'm Frank Carbon of the Bacolod Chamber. Here is my question. This is very important to us. What's the department roadmap for the region's post-pandemic recovery? This is important to us because if we know your recovery and the timeline, we will be able to align our investment program to that recovery. We cannot be late. We cannot be ahead. We have to move together. Very, very important to us. I hope you could put that on paper, then you can take a look at it, maybe discuss with you another time, but you could start the discussion today, just to give us the glimpse of what is that post-pandemic recovery.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Give me 10 seconds kay naglobat ang ako na battery, ibutang ko lang sa socket. Sandali lang.
Tintin. Kamusta? Big shoes? You're saying it's a big shoes? Help us with this, we need it also for our planning also. We need your recovery planning, no? Without that plan, very hard for us also to program our investments and our continuity plan also.
Yes, right, sir. And we wish also the local government units to align to that plan.
Yes, they need it also, no? The three of us, the local, the national, and the business sector, we have to align our own, no? We dapat, this is a three-way rally. Dapat pareho-pareho the same destination. We should not compete. We should not,
Amugid.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Ah,
Robbie. I'm talking
yeah.
to us. Thank you.
Anyway, I'm back. Galing mo kasi manuwa ko. Ano kami, taga Manapla ko sa una.
Yeah, so hidlaw ko na siyang puto namon di.
Ay, syempre. Oh. ang hindi alam ng mga tao, ang special puto bala naton, ang nabalaan lang nila ordinary puto, pero mayara pag na siya na special puto na na ginabaligya, na kami lang nakabalo. Anyway, for the recovery of our sector, one of the big things that we're looking at, ang factor of the confidence to travel. So when we have a factor called the confidence to travel, we have to ensure that the things that the tourists are looking for are actually there in our destinations. So amo na nasubong pa lang ang ginahimo na sang sang DOT. We're actually as I have heard this several times na magsiling sila, ay why man turismo subong, so why ka mo trabaho? And that is a farce because we have never slept. If traveling slept, the Department of Tourism never slept on its duties because we are now busy on the recovery period. We are preparing our LGU and industries for the eventual return of our tourists. So number one, we're looking at the safety of our tourists. So when we're going to look at the safety of our tourists, we're looking to the protocols. We are looking at the right protocols so that we can gain the confidence of our tourists to come back. But we also have to we need infrastructure support on that. And when we say infrastructure support, we have to help. I just was flagged or gintag ko sa isa ka doctor subong on what DOT is doing. May mga findings subong ko no na the ventilation system of our tourism establishments ang transmission ako no is not through droplets. They are saying na mayara ano ko ng evidence that it is aerosolized. Ibig sabihin, it is hanging on the air. Ara siya, hindi siya droplet na mahulog lang sa surface. So there may now be implications on the needed infrastructures and machines of our hotels and services. So we have to look at our infrastructures, our buildings, our structures, are they ready for the COVID? And some people would say to us again, mayroon naman vaccination. So vaccination right now is still at its early stage because it has still to be checked kung how long is its effectivity. Is it going to be every year kinahanglan magpa-vaccinate ta or hindi? But all of these things is there. Then we have to need more research and do maybe in the future retrofitting pata. It depends on the knowledge that we can get from this pandemic. Government support is there. I hope you have enrolled in the Bayanihan 2 na for the tourism workers and enterprises. For our business persons here, there is an available subsidy. It's not a subsidy, but it's an available funds of 6 billion in DTI for micro, small, and medium enterprises on the tourism sector. So we know that there is a need now to restart there have been ang reklamo sa akin, Sir Frank, is dugay na sila nagsarado kay way pa man customers. So mungkin lanlanan nila mag-restart. But the restart, they will be needing capital to restart their businesses. And SB Corp, the SB Small Business Corporation of DTI, is there to help that. So mayroon ta loans to help us. This is just on the short term na ginasiling ko. Ang roadmap natin is medyo dugay pa because we don't, the prediction that I have read is halin pa sa IATA. It's saying that the normalcy of the international travel will be on 2024 pa kuno. So that's, if we're looking at international tourists, it will be on 2024 pa daw, sabi ng IATA. On the domestic side, we've seen, it will depend now on the spread of COVID. If local government units, private sector, individuals like us can do our thing and prevent the spread of COVID, then the earlier the borders or the walls that have been built to protect local government or communities can be lowered. So, budlay ka ng imo na not a question, but number one, we have a document that we call TRRP. That's a tourism response and recovery program, but it is being updated right now because it was based on data that we had last year, first half last year. So, ara naman ta sa first half this year, then we have to review on what are the forecasts again. Kasi sige bago mga forecast so that we can look at what would be the essential programs so that the right infrastructures, the right services, magdungan bala. I know what you're looking for is the complementation. Nakamute ka mo, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Yeah, yes. Feeling is mutual. We're having a hard time also, But ang feeling namon period 2024, no? So hang on 21, 22, 23. And anyway, it's a good thing. Yeah.
For the domestic market, same with our from Bacolod to Iloilo to Boracay, we are seeing they're trying to restart tourism amat-amat.
Right, yeah. We could see it.
So, but the call of Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat is let's always be on guard. The safety rules, the protocols are all there, and they are designed to help us. As sometimes kasi miyara ng mga stakeholders, man ginapabudlayan lang kami. Kay we have to invest. It's not that. Number one, we are studying the market preference. The market wants that. Number two, it is for your safety and our safety. It's to rebuild the confidence to travel of both business and the tourist for leisure.
Yeah, yes. In fact, we're now managing the spread of the virus at our store and office level na lang. We feel hindi pwede i-dictate from the top. We know our business, we know our offices, so we're doing it at an office level. Una nga, skeletal force, division, etc. Meaning you have to manage it on your own household and office store level.
Yeah.
We have to take full responsibility in this. Hindi pwede ibigin sa gobyerno, local and national. But anyway, thank you very much. Hope we could do this with Bacolod naman sometime. Hope Tintin could facilitate this also for your stakeholders and Negros also. So thank you, Ravi. Salamat.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. For our stakeholders, I'll state my closing remarks. The Department of Tourism, led by Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat, is here. We are constantly guided by actually the private sector. There have been, or there have been, and there will be public consultations, at the same time private consultations with the private sector, local government units, and the partners in national government agencies in crafting, reviewing, and at the same time improving the policies that we have right now. So earlier I said that we have been studying the value chain, the tourism value chain, and almost all of you who are here right now are part of that. So we will be consulting you, and we will be, our doors and our ears and our eyes are always open for your suggestions and for your recommendations so that we can act upon it. It is only through this that we know tourism, hands down, it will always be there. It was $1 trillion industry then. In the next 5 years, it will again be $1 trillion industry. That is the hope. And I think it is not the hope. It is reality that people will always travel, be it for business, be it for visiting friends, be it for recreation, be it for their hobbies or sports or whatever purpose. They will travel. This is the hope that we're holding on, and or actually reality. And for Iloilo City, before the pandemic, we were your partners. We have visited you for your MICE aspirations, and we have already set up the infrastructures. We have started making your marketing plan, and we were very happy that a lot of businesses and conventions were made in Iloilo. Push lang po natin yan. When you say incentivize, yes, we will still be there. TPB will and Department of Tourism will be marketing Iloilo as a MICE center in our Visayas region. But at the same time, the tourism products that you have, like farm tourism, diving, you have your cultural tourism, culinary tourism, all of these are embedded in the programs that OIC, RD, TIN, Manzanares will be working to develop with you guys. So for our stakeholders, damo gid na salamat sa inyong suporta. I know this 1 hour 30 minutes is very short. Kung OIC RD TIN, if there is a need for more dialogue so that we can coordinate our actions from the national government to the regional government down to the enterprise and LGU level, let's do it. We will always be open and responsive to the needs of Western Visayas. Para diin pang pagka-Ilonggo ko kung hindi ka magtilabangay, binuligay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yusik Robbie. We exceeded actually around 30 minutes already from our expected duration of our session. So there are a lot of interest coming from our stakeholders. I appreciate everyone's participation for today. Yusik Robbie, thanks for sharing your valuable time and insights. Of course, Secretary Puyat, thank you very much. The Secretary will have her live guesting tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. via RMN Calibo. And at 10:30, she will be with PIA Region 6 Iloilo for another press con. And in the afternoon at 1 p.m., she will be one of the guests of Bombo Radio Bacolod. So that's 1 o'clock. So wala man siya ka-join this afternoon for the Q&A, ara man si Yusik Robbie. But tomorrow, Secretary Puyat allotted her time the whole day for these press conferences to update our stakeholders on the efforts being done by DOT for our rehab and recovery in the tourism industry. And this ends our session this afternoon. Thank you very much, Iloilo Business Club. Mr. Hamora, Madam mga salamat. Mr. Terence Oygongco, Ms. Leia Lara, and the rest of the team from IBC. Thank you, Gid. The Daily Guardian team, and of course, our presenter for this session, Global Business Power. Madam mga salamat. Let us safely experience Western Visayas first.
Happy birthday to you. Birthday subong ni OIC Tin.
Thank you, Yusek.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the dedication.
Yes.
Of being at work in your birthday.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, salamat yun.